a CIO and top-tier management consultant with over 3 decades of excellence across integrated program management, Mr. Vivek K Khanna.
It was a time where I think we all sat on a table and worked for maybe 14 hours a day, ate together, slept whenever available, and did whatever it took to get the network up.
Listening to you describe those high-pressure moments, the system rollouts, the sleepless nights, and the sheer scale of keeping millions of calls and bills accurate.
When they saw as to what we had done, they changed their mind and they retained me as the only Indian expat to be on the senior management team.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, and today we are stepping into a world most people only see from the outside. We talk so much about digital disruption, transformation, automation, AI, cloud, cybersecurity, but very few people ever meet the leaders who have built those systems. And today we are sitting with someone who hasn't just watched India's technology landscape evolve, he has been one of the architects shaping it. Our guest is a powerhouse, a strategist, a transformation evangelist, a leader trusted across telecom, banking, IT services, manufacturing, and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today is Mr. Vivek K Khanna, a CIO and top-tier management consultant with over 3 decades of excellence across integrated program management, IT transformation, IS audit and controls, complex telecom architecture, managed services, risk governance, and C-level advisory. He has led IT giants like Videocon, Bharti, Essar cell phone, that is Vodafone, spearheaded strategic outsourcing for IBM across India and Asia Pacific, and transformed legacy systems across industries from pharmaceuticals to finance. And even after all of that, he continues to redefine what strategic technology leadership looks like through his CIO on demand and advisory roles. Mr. Khanna, what an honor to have you with us. How are you doing today?
Wow, Sunny, that introduction is indeed very, very flattering. I don't know how to thank you for that, and I will probably record this also. But yes, thank you so much for the introduction. I think you're giving me too much credit. The credit obviously goes to the team. You're only as good as your team is. So not only your team, but also your mentors and your supervisors who at various points of your career have guided you, helped you, and given you the leverage to be able to do what you believe is right. And thankfully, things have worked out for me. But thank you again so much.
Wonderful to hear that, Mr. Khanna. So let me start right there. You have spent over 30 years building, leading, and transforming technology ecosystems across industries. But if you could take us back to the early days, what was the spark? How did this journey into IT systems transformation really begin for you?
Well, actually, this is a kind of a very surprising turn of event which happened for me in my career. I actually was never planning to do IT. I'm from a family of lawyers and chartered accountants. My grandfather, Professor Vedvyas, was senior advocate and head of Arya Samaj and DAV colleges and DAV schools. And basically, my dad was a lawyer. My kids also lawyers, actually. But while I was doing my CA, I also went into accounting. While auditing, I happened to be part of one of the transformations in the accounting field where Indo-French company were looking to automate their books of accounts. And that intrigued me so much, interested me so much. And it was a completely new field that I completely dropped my CA and went on and did my CSA course from National Institute of Information Technology. And that's where my journey for IT began. And I joined Ranbaxy Laboratories as a management trainee and did a couple of projects for them, again in the areas of technology. So that's how it all started. It was not planned. It was not something I even thought of that time. And perhaps that time, technology, everybody was doing engineering, being a doctor, CA, or a lawyer. That was the the course. But it happened for me, and I'm very thankful for the destiny the way it's taken me.
That's indeed an interesting journey, Mr. Khanna, and thank you for the excellent start to this podcast. So, you were CIO for some of India's most exciting telecom brands, Essar, Vodafone, Bharti, Airtel, Videocon, right when mobile was exploding in this country. So, if I walked onto your IT floor in those days, say during the first software-based prepaid rollout or the Y2K transition, what would I have seen? And part B of my question is, what did it really take to keep a live network running, bills accurate, and millions of customers happy when everything was scaling at once?
Well, actually, one of the background which perhaps I should also share with you is that I came back to India in 1995, having worked overseas as an information systems auditor and head of security for the Emirates Banking Group. And I was recruited or headhunted in India by the Essar Group at that point of time was for one skill and one skill only, which was my experience in online real-time applications, which was banking was the most sophisticated at that point of time. And the fact that I had done a formal education and training and practiced security and controls. Telecom at that point of time was very, very new. There was no, so to say, talent available in the marketplace which could be used or groomed.
Yeah, sure.
Well, the telecom journey that began in 1995 was actually something that was an offshoot of my career in the Middle East, where I was heading up the internal audit for IS, that is IS systems, in 1995. India wanted somebody with a online real-time experience, and the only sector that was available at that point of time was the banking. And international banking was a bit more sophisticated, bit more controlled, and perhaps more online real-time also. So I was called back out here and given the task of setting up the telecom BSS network for the Essar group when I came. And that time, only I think two networks were there, Airtel and Essar were there when they started in 1995. So right from building the data center to recruiting the team to hiring the staff and using an application which was already purchased by the shareholders or the owners. And that's how it all began. I have been through a journey where we have grown one circle in Delhi to three more circles in the UP, Lucknow and UP West. And thereafter, built two data centers also. So if you were to walk into my data center at that point in time, it would be chaotic. Because there were no systems, there were no standards, and everybody was new to what was happening out there. So people were learning on the job. We were transferring best practices from overseas to India while recruiting people and training them also. It was a fun time. It was a time where I think we all sat on our table and worked for maybe 14 hours a day, ate together, slept whenever available, and did whatever it took to get the network up.
Incredible, Mr. Khanna. Listening to you describe those high pressure moments, the system rollouts, the sleepless nights, and the sheer scale of keeping millions of calls and bills accurate really brings the story to life.
Absolutely. I think it is probably the highest learning curve that I have had in my career because I went into a domain which was new to me. I went into a regulatory environment which was still not yet established or stable. Things were evolving, and uh, the stakeholders or the groups that were running it were highly dependent on foreign partners' knowledge and expertise. For example, the first partner we had was Swisscom, and Swisscom, when they came in, they wanted to take over the entire technology, which was the networks, the billing, the IT. But when they saw as to what we had done, they changed their mind and they retained me as the only Indian expat to be on the senior management team.
That's great. That's great. So tell me one thing, Mr. Khanna. Today you operate as a consulting CIO and advisor. You come into organizations that are already running with legacy systems, politics, pressures, and expectations. When you walk into a new mandate as a CIO on demand, where do you start? I mean, is there a pattern you see in organizations that are struggling with technology? And what are the first few moves you make to bring order, confidence, and direction back into the system?
See, what happens is that nowadays technology is evolving and changing very, very fast. Uh, you could move in any one of the many directions which technology is taking you. And what happens more often than not is that people who are already running the organizations are too close to see what the future holds for them and what perhaps may be the impact of the competition taking a certain direction. So my role basically when I meet these large companies or companies which are looking to have me on their board or get me on the steering committee is to be an objective, rational observer and perhaps take into account my experiences, be it in manufacturing, be it banking, be it telecom, be it in disaster management, be it in security, be in online real-time systems, and to be able to not only ask the right questions from the technology partners, but also validate what they're saying. Because as you know, salespeople can actually sell you the moon without actually letting the other person know that what they're selling is perhaps not realistic or perhaps doesn't give them the required ROI, that is return on investments. So I work as a neutral party to protect the interest of the business while ensuring that the technology partners that they have in place offer them the right technology at the right price and help the business also rationalize their expectations from what the technology can deliver and not just use technology as a basis of complaining or saying that we could not do this because this was not available. I mean, you've got to be realistic about what you can afford and what benefit it will give you.
Absolutely. And hearing you navigate legacy systems, internal politics, and high expectations while restoring confidence and direction makes it clear that your work is as much about people and strategy as it is about technology.
Well, actually, you know what? If you were to ask me, it's more about people than about technology because technology is only as good as it is put in use for. So it is the people who decide how to use it, when to use it, how much to use. So while you may have the best nowadays AI or cloud, but if you don't have the right implementation or the right strategy or the right tools to be able to use it and control it in such a way that it does not uh, uh, create additional risk or additional security issues, it will help. So my take on my experience is that if you have the right people, you give them the right motivation, and you give them the right training, they will be the tools and the people who will drive the technology in the direction which you want them to have. So again,
Rightly said.
um, the one motto which I followed in all my assignments and even today when I was to consult or am consulting is that hope for the best but prepare for the worst.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the motto for all the leaders who are out there facing the challenges. All right. So, okay. So, moving ahead, you have always been positioned at the intersection of business strategy and technology execution, Mr. Khanna. Tell me, what's one instance where the business wanted speed, technology needed stability, and you had to play the bridge between the two? What did that teach you about leadership?
Well, business will always push you. They'll always push you for what you can do and more. And the more you provide, the more they'll ask. I mean, that's the human nature. And rightly so also. Now, for example, one was that when the telecom was starting up, you would remember probably, or maybe you were not old enough to own a mobile phone that point of time, that people wanted activation when they buy the SIM card, which is not possible because there was no online real-time system that point of time. Everything was being done. You were giving cards, you were doing the activation based on the information you got. But they said, no, if we want to compete in the marketplace, if we want to be different from our competition, we want to give a customer experience which is fulfillment of the expectations as soon as possible. So we said, fine, we'll do that, but then we'll do it at a certain cost, which was that we put in place VSATs, satellite links, at remote locations where the activity could be done remotely. So from a centralized operation, we went to a decentralized operation for certain aspects of the business which required immediate attention. While this is good for small numbers, but as you know, the telecom in India exploded way beyond anybody's expectation. I mean, for example, if I was to take when we were doing the outsourcing for Bharti, the expectation or the contract was for 40 million over 10 years. And I was made the head of transformation and for IBM site, having a budget of $40 million plus. Bharti achieved that target of 40 million in less than 5 years. I mean, that's how fast the market grew. And I think the environment that was created by the government and the proactive attention that was given by the stakeholders made this market absolutely grow at a rate which is not seen anywhere in the world. So it did help to be a bit cautious. It did help to have a structure in your planning. It did help to be able to talk to the business and make sure that you manage the expectations and you prioritize their requirements in your strategy, in your implementations.
That really illustrates the tightrope you walk between urgency and caution. And hearing how you manage the pressure from the business while ensuring technology remains stable makes the challenges and your leadership so tangible.
Well, I was lucky. I was lucky. I had a good team. I had a good team, and the team was mostly young. Actually, I was probably twice the age when I started this journey. But when I recruited those people, I mean, almost 95% were recruited by me. I looked in just three qualities in them. A is their hunger for learning, their eagerness to do it right the first time, and third was their communication skills and their ability to work with others. If you have these three skills in your staff that you're working with, you can achieve whatever you want.
Rightly said, Ms. Khanna. All right, so let's move on to the next segment of questions. But before we do that, this part of the podcast is my favorite. This is called rapid fire round. So no logic, no analysis, just instinct segment. You know, very rapid questions and quick answers, whatever first thing that pops in your mind. So are you up for it?
Okay, let's go for it.
All right, so here I shoot you the first question. If you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you land?
If I could teleport with the ability to come back, I
Yeah.
would I would go to the US and have a meeting with President Donald Trump. I'd like to understand what is he up to and why is he doing what he's doing. Because in my mind, I think whereas his intentions are honorable and good, I think the implementation needs a bit of fine tuning.
Fantastic. Okay, next question. One hobby you love but rarely get time for.
Golf has to be golf because I started playing golf when I was 18. And as I grew into senior management, my time got more and more limited. The only time I could actually play golf was when I had a client meeting and the client was happy to play golf. I would get him for 4 hours and make sure that whatever was required to be done for the month would get done. Yes, golf is definitely my passion outside of technology.
Nice. A food you can eat every single day without complaining.
Hot chocolate fudge, no doubt about it. Neither does.
Oh, mouth-watering. Great. One fictional character you secretly relate to.
I relate to. I would guess it would have to be Sherlock Holmes. Inquisitive, eye for detail, and never give up on finding a solution or the answer for the mystery.
Absolute masterpiece. Okay, a song that instantly boosts your mood no matter what.
Come September. It's a movie also, and it's a song, and I love Rock Hudson. It's just a fantastic song with peps you up, irrespective what kind of mood you're in.
That was fantastic, Mr. Khanna. That was fun, fast, wonderfully real. And that's the magic of our rapid fire round. Okay. Talking about the challenges that the industry faces, we have seen global data breaches, cybersecurity breakdowns, digital frauds, outsourcing failures, system outages that stopped airlines, banks, telecom networks, uh, incidents that reminded everyone that technology is powerful but also fragile. So let me ask you something that goes beyond IT, something about leadership and responsibility. Mr. Khanna, when you look at some of these global episodes, whether it's major cybersecurity lapses, governance failures in tech giants, AI misuse, or say large-scale data breaches, what do you think is the biggest lesson today's leader must learn from these crises?
Well, actually, it is more about not showing the urgency of deploying technology, but having the time and the appetite and the patience to be able to analyze what it can and cannot do, doing a very patient and knowledgeable what if analysis, and making sure that at least the risks that are known are covered. And having said that, a very important part of it is also to be able to assess the consequences of the technology deployment and whether or not it could go wayward or whether it would have any consequences with respect to life or personal data security. So I think in the quest of making money and being first to market, sometimes the aspects of risk assessment are put in the background or are considered that okay, we will manage when it happens. Let's cross the bridge when we see it. So I think that if you spend a bit more time on that, you would probably have a better outcome of whatever you're trying to achieve. And believe me, whatever we know today of the security issues and the lapses is perhaps not even 50% of what has actually happened in the world. I mean, you will not be privy to that kind of data because companies will make sure that whatever it takes, that information is not leaked out. So I think it is good to be cautious while being innovative and making sure that progress happens. But um, consequence management should be given equal importance also. That's my personal opinion.
Also, the tension, the uncertainty, and the tough choices makes it clear that doing the right thing often requires courage and patience, not just the strategy.
Well, it depends what the right thing is. What is right for you may not be right for me. So it really depends from where you're coming and what you plan to achieve. And sometimes, in a hurry to achieve what you want to achieve at the minimal cost, you sometimes ignore warnings also. So my take on this is yes, you need to move forward, but make sure you have the ability to be able to judge the consequences and to be able to mitigate the risks that are associated. I mean, we have seen even airlines as mature as Indigo are having problems. Why? I mean, they have very, very good and very capable management and very capable staff, but they still have problems because they just looking to move without uh, uh, paying enough attention to what the consequences of failure could be. I mean, we've seen Jet Airways, we've seen Kingfisher, all of them were fantastic airlines, I think. They're fantastic companies. They all have gone down for what? Just a callous approach towards consequences of the decisions which they're taking, which may have been good in the short term, but obviously were not the best in the long term.
Beautifully put, Ms. Khanna. Uh, okay, so this brings us to the last segment of the podcast. And the last thing that I would like to ask you is, of course, you have recently been associated with Directors Institute. So, what drew you to join Directors Institute in the first place? And how has being part of it changed the way you look at governance, leadership, and long-term decision making at the board level?
Honestly, my honest answer is I think this is one opportunity I have I observed and taken very seriously, because not only does it gives it credibility to what I'm doing. In fact, I'm doing most of it. I'm already director in two companies. I'm on the board of various managing committees. I'm on the steering committees of various companies. I'm called upon to give my advice. But if you're certified board director, it gives you that much credibility, and the people who are looking to sign you up have that much less difficulty in justifying your skills capabilities. I mean, it's just like we used to say in the past: if you hire IBM, no CIO will ever get fired, even if your systems fail. It's just like that. So it gives you a foundation. It gives you the basis of being able to deliver your advice and look at things objectively, rationally, and within the framework of the constitution and the laws applicable for that industry. Uh, so for me, joining this board of directors is kind of a certification of what I think I'm capable of doing and what I would like to do in the future.
Great to hear that. And it's fascinating how joining Directors Institute expanded your perspective from the CIO's chair to the boardroom. Mr. Khanna, your reflections on governance, long-term strategy, and ethical responsibility really highlights how operational experience and strategic oversight feed into each other.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I take it as a compliment, but I think the key thing out here is keep an open mind. Uh, Make sure that you're aware of what's happening around you, how the technology is evolving, how it could benefit you and your clients, and how best to make sure that you don't overinvest in technology without looking at the returns, nor do you oversimplify technology, which will make perhaps create risk or security breaches or issues going forward, which may cost you more than if you would have spent time and money at this point in time to implement it correct.
Absolutely, Mr. Khanna. And let me tell you, this has been such a powerful and eye-opening conversation. What makes today's episode more than a podcast is a reminder that real leadership doesn't happen in board meetings or dashboards. It happens in the decisions we take when nobody's watching.
You're actually right. I mean, you've absolutely spot on this. I mean, you will find many people who are far more intelligent, far more capable, and far more read than what I am, perhaps. And they've done doctors, and they have doctors so and so. They've done stuff which I couldn't dream of doing. But when it comes to the ground, uh, reality check is what matters. What matters is how you look at things, how you implement things, how you take people with you, and how you make sure that whatever you do is benefiting a company, and it can be afforded by the company that is implementing it. Um, um, I work with people from the best companies possible, be it IBM, HP, previously it was Sun also, and they are very, very good people, but perhaps not as tuned to working in a chaotic and unstructured environment as a CIO needs to work, or as a board member would need to work to make sure that the interests of all the key stakeholders are managed and managed to the best of their abilities. So you've got to be multi-directional, you've got to be multi-dimensional, basically. It's like all-rounder in a cricket team. You have specialist batsmen, specialist bowlers, but you need all-rounders also who can balance the team skills and bring in that holistic approach to the game.
Mr. Khanna, you have given our listeners a masterclass in how technology, leadership, and humanity intersect. So thank you so much for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and your reflections with such honesty and clarity.
Thank you, Sunny. I think it's been a wonderful opportunity to have this chat with you. You have been very, very complimentary to me, and I am not shy of saying that I think I don't deserve this credit. Credit has to go to the team, has to go to the people who I've worked with, who I've worked for, and the opportunities I've got. So again, thanks a lot for this opportunity, Sunny, and I wish you all the best.
Likewise, sir, and thank you once again. And to everyone tuned in, I hope this episode left you with more than just insights. I hope it left you with perspective because in a world obsessed with speed, Ms. Khanna reminded us that clarity, consistency, and integrity are what truly move organizations forward. So, thank you for joining us on FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi. Signing off for now, and until next time, stay curious, stay resilient, keep learning, and as I always say, lead with integrity. Thank you so much.